They told you Africa had no history, no systems, no power worth remembering. That lie shaped textbooks. Borders, global hierarchies. But lies like this are never random. They are built, maintained, defended. Because if Africa was already advanced, then conquest was never salvation. It was theft. And once you understand what was erased, you'll understand why it had to be. Pause. This is not a motivational story. This is a recovery operation. Long before European expansion, Africa was not isolated. It was interconnected. Trade routes crossed deserts. Knowledge moved along rivers. Universities existed without stone walls. Governance was not chaotic. It was contextual. Empires like Mali, Songhai, Kush, Aksum, Great Zimbabwe did not rise accidentally. They rose because systems worked. Gold was regulated. Law was enforced. Spiritual authority balanced political power. This was not myth. This was infrastructure. The shift did not begin with violence. It began with curiosity. Foreign observers asked questions about gold, about roots, about control. Maps were redrawn quietly. Africa stopped being a partner and became a resource. And once the decision was made, the narrative had to change. Because you cannot justify domination over equals. Words became weapons. Cities became settlements. Universities became gatherings. Engineering became coincidence. African intelligence became luck. African governance became imitation. African spirituality became superstition. This wasn't ignorance. It was translation with intent. Because if you control language, you control memory. Libraries were dismissed, not burned. Oral historians were ignored, not executed. Artifacts were removed, not explained. What couldn't be destroyed was reclassified. What couldn't be reclassified was hidden. What couldn't be hidden was mocked. Empires don't always fall loudly. Some are erased politely. Control didn't rely only on force. It relied on division. Artificial borders. Installed leaders. Manufactured conflict. Unity was dangerous. Memory was dangerous, so both had to go. Africa was repositioned as beginning. Only when Europe arrived. Everything before that became prehistory. And prehistory requires no respect. But silence was not surrender. It was storage. Elders became libraries. Stories became archives. Symbols became safes. Truth was passed carefully. Privately. Selectively. Because survival sometimes means waiting. Technology reopened archives. Scholars re-examined assumptions. Timelines cracked. Ruins refused to disappear. Artifacts demanded These ruins still stand. Why these questions refuse to disappear? Why this story keeps returning? No matter how many times it is buried. Because history is not owned by those who write it last. It belongs to those who lived it. And now, the silence is breaking. The erased are being remembered. The fragments are reconnecting. The narrative is shifting. Not through anger. Not through revenge. But through remembrance. If you are hearing this, you are not late. You are right on time. Because history is not finished. It is being reclaimed. One voice. One truth. One listener at a time. And this is only the beginning.